Okay, hey everybody. Getting a little bit of late start here. The studio's kind of in shambles. We're doing some video recording, so won't be doing the normal backdrop here. We'll just use this one. One of my lights is out, so we'll get through it. Just want to give you guys a wave. And of course, during class, Bitcoin is on a run and a rally. I would advise to not chase this because we know these things can sell off end of the day. And so I'm kind of waiting to see what happens here end of day. So you might notice here about Bitcoin up at 93K. I had sold half my Bitcoin at 92.5 back on the 13th and was waiting for a deeper pullback. We saw it come into this range here. And if you guys could just let me know, you can see me and my screen, and we're going to dive into some news here as well. But yeah, it's interesting market. We should be around a topping area according to Juan Villaverde on the cycles. So I don't really want to chase this, but on the other hand, the parabolic pump here, some are saying we could pump to 100K or higher this week. So my big TLDR from today is just keep in mind that we've been this high before and then sold off end of day. So it's a bit tricky here. If you guys are new and you're here because you want to know, you hear all this hype and about crypto, what should you do? You're not going to want to hear this, but you should have been buying back here when we were saying to. So, but the next big point is, and I don't mean that to sound snarky, but I can't tell you what to do right now. We could go either way. I do think we push higher, and we are probably push higher into December, January. But it's at these frothy levels. I did take profits on a bunch of my alts partially last night, which are somewhat down today. But anyway, let's get into some news. I'm curious as well. What's rallying Bitcoin? I know MicroStrategy is buying a lot more. So let's see. Yeah, the ETF options also. And I had warned last night in our M3 Active Trader group that to kind of be careful with this market. The ETF options, there's expect volatility with these things. And I'm not sure if you realize when they release new instruments and derivative instruments and ETFs and things, they will sometimes tank the market. And so I'm a little bit dubious here on, is this a sustainable rally? It's becoming really difficult to keep track of everything. But we're going to be relying on our indicators and other things as well. But just to zoom out, the market topped back around in here and here. And even in the prior cycles when they launched the futures-based ETFs back in here, I believe it was, and then there was others in here, maybe it was back in here. But when they launch these derivative products, often they are at key inflection points that look like we're going higher, right? Let me just show you this. And this is why, for those of you that are new traders, be careful with the FOMO of trying to chase these things. If we catch it early, which we ostensibly are in this early phase, then and this kind of a pump here, then it's great. But there's a lot of people have been kind of getting in early and front running this thing. I do think we push higher. My point is, though, back on this candle here, everything looked great. Hey, we're breaking higher, 63,650, and then what happened the next week? That was the market top. All right. There's some, we can get into the weeds about whether this was the top and this was sort of the Wyckoff up thrust after distribution, the fake out. But either way, this looked hunky dory also here, and then and then it reversed. So these things can reverse. So I don't want to scare anyone. I'm just saying right now, still a time to be somewhat cautious. If you're fully out of the market, I don't think that's a good idea. The risk of this thing completely blasting off is still there. So that's why I sold half of my Bitcoin and was waiting to get back in. And we're sort of wondering if that's going to happen. So that's still in this kind of the last weekly candle. And typically, this Bollinger Band, this class Crypto Mastery is specifically predominantly for training on our signals. So the Bollinger Band here that we use, which is, of course, a modified Bollinger Band, are part of our Crypto Mastery Pro signals. When it touches the upper Bollinger Band with our modification, because Bollinger Bands, the standard ones, don't work for crypto. we've had to make a key settings change. And so this is our Bollinger Band Pro because the standard one would not be containing price like this. So we can see though, when price pushes up, typically it will pull back a little bit. And when it gets up to touch that upper red Bollinger Band, people ask all the time, when should I sell? When should I sell? Well, this is one of those key areas where taking profits is prudent because we saw here and here, then it kind of rolled over and sold off. So that is my concern up in this area. Now, however, there are some other factors like this big buy block here, which is part of our Crypto Mastery Pro, the ERI Pro, which includes these arrows, which show key inflection points, like we saw at the last market top. It looks like there's a lot of people here. If you're new to what we are talking about here in this class, then these signals are the backbone of everything we do. And this particular pattern here, using our Crypto Mastery Pro signals and a bearish engulfing candle, is our red alert market top signal. Okay, and we saw a faint version of it here, and you guys in the M3 Active Trader, the class I teach tomorrow, know that I was signaling, hey, back here when this red arrow fired, like, hey guys, I don't know why we're seeing this now. We should be pushing to new highs, but we're having our bear market setups, and sure enough, we were getting out. And some of you listened to me, and we had a 20% drop or so. And so these take the emotion out of things. And so I'm going to come back to where we are now, and then we'll get into some news. But this specifically, that, and then these three red signals there, all part of our Crypto Mastery Pro, signals that are designed by a quant engineer and our partner. The best I've ever used. If you guys don't have those, if you're here and you want to maximize the bull run, go over to cryptomastery.org/pro. And you can also find it from our website at moonstream.io. So again, these classes, though, are really to help you to how to use the signals. So specifically what we're watching for, and we'll be getting out of the markets. I don't think this is a market top. I think we have an interim key resistance area that we seem to be pushing through. But this red early reversal indicator, okay, a bearish engulfing candle, our trend strength indicator going red and below 80. There are 80-20 on the most oscillators are the key levels. Our signal line, these are all different algorithms going green to red. And here, the RSI Pro, this red circle, you guys have seen RSIs, but Joe's done an amazing job creating this version that's color-coded. The red up here was just overbought. It's above 80, and below 20 is oversold. Mostly what I'm watching for are these circles which indicate divergence. So this is bearish divergence. This is bullish divergence. And if you're new to all this, that just means that maybe the RSI has pushed up, but the price action has gone sideways. So there's hidden divergences, and then we don't need to get into all that. Okay, but you can see back here in this area, RSI was rising, and that was back, of course, around November of 2022 when we were getting ready to get back in the markets. So we had that bullish divergence. Price was just barely going up, going sideways when it was down around 16.5, which, as you guys know, I had forecast 16.5 all the way back in May. And some little bit of luck, but I had that area, and so we were right on that. And so, but the signals really helped. So that's the bear market signals. What I want to get back to is the bull versus bear scenario here. Now, markets are tricky. So when I was saying the upper Bollinger Band, typically, yes, I would expect some kind of a sell-off, especially after a big run-up. So we saw that back here and almost got to it there, but then we started seeing these other signals. The caveat to this being a sell area, this big buy block here, this is actual buying, money flow. And I want to make sure everyone understands the difference between these are buy blocks where there are orders on the exchange, in this case, Binance. Due to arbitrage across the major exchanges, they're usually pretty much the same. So there are lots of buy orders here on this weekly time frame at 52K. Apparently, some people think we're still going back to 52K. I don't think so. But when we see sell blocks, red orders, that's when we want to be careful. And we did have some up here and on the total market cap, which have cleared. So that's very bullish. The back to this example though, this vertical red line in the Bollinger Band usually is a sell or take profit signal. So that's why I'm a little leery of this bullish pump on the weekly time frame, because it could still sell off and come back down into this range. So on the one hand, I'm not going to sell more because I already took profits at 92.5. I can show you that if you want. And we know these things can kind of, roll over. So if we start seeing a topping tail and see this come down, I would say this would be an ideal buy order right about, well, I don't know that we'll come back to 77K, but if we did, that would be a massive buying spot. What I have seen, and by the way, you guys are probably using other technical indicators. You can use these in conjunction, but they're all outdated and not as good as these. These buy blocks, what I've noticed is I have yet to see price go below the midpoint of these big buy areas. Now, why is that? We can surmise and empirically, I believe that that's a big institutional ETF order, a big buy order, and they will protect those areas by buying more. And so, certainly there's a case for what about the next bear market. But there is also a study, which I've been posting in M3, that historically we don't go below the price of Bitcoin at the last election. So back here we could see this big buy block that happened around 24K, and so that held right here, right back in September 2023. So these are really these are support zones. So I would say if price comes back down anywhere near sort of 80K, I'd be buying that for sure. All right, so we'll look at daily here in a moment. So basically, that's what I'm watching for. I'm not ready to FOMO into this. Now, that being said, there's massive buying happening by ETFs, by MicroStrategy, as I call it, just shortens it, Michael Saylor, MicroStrategy. There you go. Almost met him last week. I have a goal to meet him by the end of the year. Many mutual friends actually. So Michael, if you're watching, give me a holler, and we'll talk about Bitcoin. Anyway, yeah. So what's also bearish here, and it has me a little concerned, and this is how to use these signals on the longer time frames. The trend strength indicator is really in this overbought area now until and unless we see a red chevron. And I'm okay. We can stay green for a while, especially in the bull mania phase. So if we zoom out, when in doubt, zoom out. We saw this kind of a pattern in October of 2020, and then all the way into 2021. We were up in this range, as we know, and even through had that midsummer cycle low. Incidentally, these signals are great for when we have those. So I remember back in June and July of the last cycle in 2021, had that massive sell-off on price, and we nailed the reentry. In July of 2021, look at this, you guys, on a weekly time frame. It's all about confluence. This early reversal indicator, okay, the trend strength indicator going green and above 20. We can see that. Our signal line went green. Our RSI went green. Boom. That's the four horsemen. And I was saying, get into this. We caught it on the daily and the weekly to the day. And then we pushed up here, and then, of course, also called the market cycle top with these same signals. So if you're new here, you want to get a hold of these signals. You need to have them, especially for the bull run, because it really takes the guesswork and emotion out of everything. We have a checklist, an interactive trade success checklist. Hey, Myrene, could you follow up with Victoria on the latest version, because that's taken way too long, and we need that. So thank you. Because I apparently buggered the old one when I went in and added some of the new signals that we have, and broke some things. So we'll get that out to you guys soon. But it's as simple as, if this, check the box. If you have a score of 2 or 3 out of 20, get into the trade and then add to it. All right, let's jump down to the daily. I do see some chat questions here, so let me hop over and we'll look at that here in a moment, for a moment rather. And let's see, I'll go full screen so you're not looking at all my tabs. Let's see, if you do have any questions, let me know. Let's see, all good, visual, good. Terry says, when I'm looking at the indicators on an 8-hour chart at noon, I don't know why you're watching an 8-hour chart, but so before I read the rest of the question, the signals are really best on 1 hour, 4 hour, daily, weekly, monthly. On occasion, I'll use a 12-hour, but if you start going into 6-hour, 8-hour, you'll see conflicting signals. So you're saying an 8-hour chart at noon, are they surmising what the direction of the market will be the next 8 hours or until the market closes at 4? That's a fair question. Yeah, so right, that's why I don't look at too many time frames. And so the let's see, are you looking at Bitcoin, Terry? We can look at that here and see what's. I don't even have 8 hours. I have 4-hour, 12-hour. So your question is the next 8 hours. I mean, not necessarily, but yeah, I mean, these things do run in kind of in confluence. And as example, I'm not going to pull up the 8-hour right now, but on the 1-hour, 4-hour, for example, and you can see, by the way, on many of the alts, we're hitting our resistance areas. So what we have on, let me clean these up a bit, and I don't usually have all of these on these 1-hour, 4-hour, but I'm mostly looking at order blocks, buy sell order blocks, and the TSI. And let me just hide the, the signal because it's a little bit too much noise. So essentially, if you're overbought on the 4-hour up here and you break below the 80 line like we saw there, I would expect to see, not all the way down necessarily unless these are confluence, but generally that's the trend strength indicator. And the ERI, I don't want to talk too fast with you guys. The ERI in conjunction with this is stronger, but we get a lot of noise on the smaller time frames, right? I'll come back to that. That is important. So on the shorter time frames, we can have the 1-hour going up and the 4-hour going down. It gets really tricky on if you're using 1 minute, 3 minute, 15, and hourly for day trading, which I was teaching a sniper class back in 2021. I'm not necessarily, I'm not going to get back into that, although I do have a new private client that's trades overseas and is experienced, so I might be doing some of that, but not for most of you. It's anyway, confluence is key. If the so you're saying, are you surmising what the direction of the market will be in the next 8 hours? Not necessarily for the full 8 hours, and that's the thing. These bars will fluctuate, and you will also. Here's a pro tip here. You see how you have 8 minutes left on the hourly, but 2 hours left on the 4-hour. Okay. So every 4 hours, though, they will coincide, and you'll typically see that confluence kind of, move programmatically. It's not tradable, it's just of interest. What I'm more looking for here to answer your question, though, are the patterns here. So Bitcoin has been pushing up and riding that upper Bollinger Band. If nothing else, that upper Bollinger Band does tend to contain price. Some of you remember I used to trade with a VWAP, and that's more for day trading, and I'm not going to get into that right now. But so when price consolidates, though, and you have support on a 21 period, let me zoom in on this. On a 21 period EMA, I like the 21 and 50 period EMA. So we see its support here and sideways, held support, higher lows, higher lows. So it is consolidating. It is looking like it's ready to break out on today's candle, this 4-hour candle. However, the previous 4-hour candles have been sort of rejecting at that 92.5 level. Okay, so I just I don't like risk. I think that as we go toward the end of the day, usually also the morning rallies sell off. We can kind of see that on the hourly here, pushed up to 93,200, sort of selling off here. There's really not a clear signal on which way this thing goes. And the reason that I would be careful here, as I put in our M3 chat yesterday, is that anytime they launch a new derivatives product, there'll typically be some, forgive the term, I actually not going to use it, but it starts with F and it ends in ERY. So messing around over there. They'll they being market makers and derivatives traders and options, they will try to fake out us retail traders. And so just to show you guys, if you're not in M3, I do daily commentary and picks and so forth. And let's see, where did I post that? Where I put in, let's see, Metaplanet's going to be buying on, see, 11 million. I thought it was a billion. It's certainly not like MicroStrategy, but I was talking about, by the way, how do you guys like the new setup here? This is the shooting some video. That's what I look at right now. I'm kind of playing around with dark mode. I don't know. I like the light mode though. What do you guys think? In the evening, I'll kind of turn it to dark mode, but finally got the war station ready to go. All right. And where just to show you though, because it's warranted, also the ETF flows are coming in looking good. We've got a lot of commentary here. Expect volatility tomorrow and Tuesday. Spot ETF options. I posted this last night at around 4:40 p.m. Spot ETF options may start trading tomorrow, and this can lead to volatility either direction. So we're kind of, it appears we're going higher, but I don't trust these. And this is kind of where you really, when you're become a more experienced trader, and we talk more about it at M3 with the psychology of this and the Russian dolls. If you're familiar with the Russian dolls, where there's a doll inside of a doll, it's, and you keep going, opening up another one, like, hey, there's more. The outer one is the overall macro market cycle. Do we have a liquidity? Are we printing money? Are there wars? Is there uncertainty? That's going to move everything inside of it. And then inside you have different sectors and narratives. And inside of those, you have, coins that are, leading in that sector, monetization model, venture back. There's all these variables. And then you have kind of the whipsaws of the technical analysis on that inner side. So anyway, that's why I'm erring on the side of caution here today, because we know even though, and this is a good example, the outer doll of the Russian dolls, the macro environment is very strong, but we've had a rip-roaring rally here. And as we know, those things can change in an instant. I mean, I don't know if you guys saw, we also just found out that former, I guess still President Biden has just authorized not Israel, too many wars, Ukraine to fire missiles, U.S.-made missiles into Russia. So Putin today just said, hey, well, we're going to redefine our engagement for nuclear weapons. So now if you send over non-nuclear weapons into Russia that were made by a nuclear power, NATO or anything, or the United States, well, then, then basically that's like nuclear war and we can nuke you back. I get really nervous at these inflection points. And so, we'll talk about that more in M3 Trader tomorrow. But I'm a little bit leery of any of these pumps. I'm still invested in Bitcoin. I'm not hammering down. Where we want to go sort of all in is on the pullbacks to these green buy limit order boxes, pullbacks to support. We have just broken new all-time highs. And on the one hand, we'd love to see typically price action will come back down and retest that, but Bitcoin doesn't always do that. So I'll share with you briefly my model and path to 150 to 200K Bitcoin. And we're following that exactly now that we have the drawn, which shows we could push up to 110, 125 and then pull back and retest. So it's a tricky one. Do we retest, come back 70? I don't know. I think we're going to push up to 100K and maybe this week, and somewhere in here is that zone of opportunity. But whereas we could just blast off at any point, we could also pull back significantly. And I'd prefer to keep some powder dry to come back in these areas. So that's my read on that. Our signals are showing green, but a little bit overbought. Not too bad on this weekly time frame. Let's look at a daily. And it's just not conclusive. On a daily time frame, it's looking bullish-ish. Bullish-ish. So the Bollinger Bands have widened, so we could certainly pump up over 100K. I think if today we close at these levels, bullish here, and don't sell off, I'll be looking to get back in. And specifically Bitcoin. I did take profits on a majority of alts, partial profits last night. Sorry, I'm in kind of semi-dark mode still here. Let me get back to the light mode. I'm going to have to put all this back later for recording some videos and things. But just a quick skim, a lot of these alts are sort of bleeding down, although a couple of them still pushing up. We'll get to some of these. I want to still kind of try and teach you guys how to use the signals. Render, I still like render, but it is upward trend channel is sort of, I think this is going to hold and contain price here. and I'm going to wait for sell off on that. Have banked some nice profits on render. We had the big buy block down here. We were buying down in here in M3. So nice profits there. And I'll hold some up until these sell order blocks. I have sell orders in already on these up in these areas. So if we spike and pump up, those are some of the best trades. You know, you have pumps, you have limit sell orders, you sell, and then it comes back down because everything cycles. And if you guys are new and uncertain and unsure, and this, as we get into the parabolic bull, certainly we can break out of these, but the trend channels have been really good to us. And so we're not in altcoin season yet. I will be aggressively buying pullbacks on many of these alts, but not right now. Also waiting for Solana because Solana looks like it can keep going forever and ever. And how many of you are bummed you didn't buy it back here at 158? Well, we were buying it all the way, all through back in here at 120 to 125, 130. We were buying through here, but the latest buy signals, let's just show you what you missed by not having our signals and being in these classes, is this green arrow, the early reversal indicator around 129. We went green here, here, and here. Nice rally up, and then the bigger one. Look at this, you guys. The bullish engulfing candle, bullish ERI. Hence the name, early reversal indicator. We were buying here, and also when this went green, and then we had the big buy block, signal went green. So we've been buying all the way through here. Our signals have been bullish, and so at this point, however, two things. We have a nice big buy block that just showed up today. And that means to me that we are not going to go below. Solana is a rocket ship, as you know. Originally, I called it at $35 back in August 1st of 2021. What is going on here, you guys? This is that one. No, this one. I need that indicator. So basically, this midpoint, I don't think we go below 230. And but look at where we are now. I'll turn off that early ERI Pro for now, and we see that back on a weekly time frame. Where we are now is why am I drawing it there? We are testing the prior high on Solana. Okay, so I would expect some resistance here. For God's sake, this thing is annoying sometimes. TradingView does not let you draw signals on top of other signals anymore, apparently. Okay, so the old high of 250, we pushed right up close to it and sold off. Here's that. Now this pattern, tell me if I'm wrong here. This pattern right here, which I kind of call the fireman's ladder, especially when we get a red hook on the end, it looks eerily similar to this, doesn't it? And now the difference is, so there's two things. I think we should get some kind of a pullback here because of this retesting old all-time high. But it won't be the top because we also had this massive push up here, and this is the fireman's ladder. And guys, I've been trading for 25 years. I make up my own patterns, signals all the time, like the rocket, which I know you guys love, and one of our signals. But see, this looks like, let's say the house is on fire and the fireman comes out and he puts a big ladder with a hook on the top, attaches to your windowsill to come and rescue you, right? You see this right here? And so let's go back and do a bars pattern on that just to show you what that looks like. And so, this could be fun. I do think Solana is a major leader in this next bull market. And so where's the bars pattern here? It's sometimes this one, bar replay. Yeah. So essentially, let's say that's not what I wanted to do. Guys, I'm a little rusty here. I've been on vacation. What I wanted to do is, I know exactly what I wanted there. What are we doing? 2023, come back in here. It's down here. It's one of my favorites. See what happens when you try and take a getaway there. Weekly time frame, back 2021. Right. Did I want to do that or this one over here? There's two fireman's ladders here. See this pull back, push up. However, this is the one I wanted to do. So let me do that again. So, but you can see that pattern, the fireman's ladder, pull back, push higher to the market cycle top. So let's take this bars pattern. And let's say that this is kind of what we're looking at. I mean, that would put us, this is exactly my target on Sol, right up to 1,000, and certainly could push higher. And, if you feel as I do that Sol should be worth 20% of ETH, let's say ETH goes to 1,000, I'm sorry, 10,000. that could put Sol at 2,000. Will ETH go to 10,000? I don't know. Last cycle, I was thinking 15,000. I think Sol could easily go to 1,000. And here's the pattern. So I think Sol is ready to break out, and then we could really see a nice push higher, all the way up to maybe say 1,200 on Solana. So that's my biggest holding in my IRA. But for now, I think it's a bit overextended, and any pullback would be great. Pullback to retest the old all-time high, or the old partial high. So I have an alert here on 200. If it comes back down to 200, I'd definitely buy Sol anywhere in this range. All right. And so does that make sense to you guys? Let's see. Jay says, I'd love to get a copy of those buy sell signals. Jay, if you're interested in our signals here, yeah, you can go to moonstream.io, and all of our services are here. The Crypto Mastery is the signals that we co-developed, and two of which were accidental discoveries. And so go watch this video. We still have, guys, I know I've been saying we're going to raise the price. January 1, the lifetime offer goes up $500. It's a steal, and the $500, the $497 per year is going to go up to $697 because it's worth 10 times that, in my opinion. But you can go watch this sort of demo here on these signals. It's everything that I use and the services we do. You can read about the rocket, one of my favorite setups that usually shoots up like a bottle rocket. It's usually a fast move that then pulls back. So you get a nice quick profit, and then you sell and you can buy back, get back in lower. The crypto screener, guys, we haven't pulled that up in a while. I'm going to do that here today. The four horsemen that are the basis of our entry exit swing trades, the ERI Pro right here, the Trend Pro, the Trend Strength Indicator Pro, and the RSI Pro. Okay, and so those have been huge for reversal signals. The order block detector I showed you, and essentially that's a visualization of where the buy limit orders are. So right down at $45 on Solana. This is the weekly, so it's a bit skewed. If we go to a daily, they're going to be scattered more close to price. So we can see there are buyers lined up right here on Solana at 206, 207. I'm going to go in and put limit buy orders in right at the top of that box around 210. And yes, I know I sold some of my Solana at 184 at this downward trending channel down in here, right in there, and thinking, which we did, excuse me, we had a pullback. And I was just so busy and traveling and focusing on you guys, and not saying it's your fault, but all of this does take a fair amount of focus away from trading sometimes. But missed that buyback and that beautiful pullback to 160, and then it just took off like a rocket. So I did hold some. Always hold a moon bag on Solana. Always hold some Solana. 10 years, thank me later. But we'll sell majority of it at key inflection points. Point is, this is where the buyers are, the 21-day EMA rising. So right in this 210 area, in fact, I'm going to this 200 level potentially if we did get a sell-off, but I'm going to have an alert here and put a buy level down around 210 on Solana because we could certainly see a pullback and then a breakthrough. And likely we'll see something like this here. If so, down, retest, breakout, retest, resume trend, and kind of like what we saw here, okay? Or we not saw, but might see on this bars pattern, which is the same path Solana has done before. So big breakout next week, followed push up to, wow, 400. Can you imagine, you guys? Certainly could happen with a short-term pullback to 273. These are fairly wide candles, and I don't know. We'll adjust as we go. But Solana, don't sleep on Solana, and I think ETH will still run, but Bitcoin, Solana, I think will lead this market rally. All right, going forward, what else can we look at here? Back to the signals, we have the Bollinger Bands, which I talked about, the Signal Line Pro, which I talked about. Don't look at that. So let's pull up the screener, by the way. And so look at that, you guys. The screener, all green. So we have great signals. This is typically what the programmatic institutional trades run on. And Joe the programmer, my partner on the signals, knows this because he was a quant trader. It's funny because I had sent him. I'm just going to share this with you. I sent him a note yesterday because I was reading about how Jane Street hedge fund just made $4 billion last year, and everyone got like massive bonuses, and their starting salaries are 250K for their quant engineers. So I sent him that last night, and here I was like, "Hey, there's this article, Jane Street's, looking for quantitative traders," and he said, "Yeah, that's what I did for hedge funds 15 years ago." This is what Joe does. This is a terrible photo, but he builds automatic trading algos for the S&P that sort of ding 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 all. This guy's next level, you guys. 15 years ago, he was building algos like this, so we're very lucky he's building these for us. So this here, the screener, the RSI and signal, he's programmed them to be what the hedge funds use. Okay. So green, we've got green lights on ETH, Bitcoin, Ondo, Sol, AVAX, near. So all of these sort of on a macro scale are bullish. And that changes slightly on a weekly time frame. So that's useful to know. You can change these. This is just your at a glance kind of what are your top 8 holdings? What do what are you seeing there? And not to be confused with the radar down below, which is more of that specific coin on multiple time frames. Multiple ways to skin a cat here, but down here you can change these different ones. So, and on different exchanges. So ticker one is Coinbase, Bitcoin and Coinbase. ETH, I just chose Coinbase on all these except for Brett token on MEXC. And so you can change those. You can edit those as your heart's desire. Pretty cool, right? So, guys, these are pro tools that everyone can use, and they're simple. And for $1,500 for lifetime, it is a no-brainer. At least you get the annuals. So this class predominantly for training on that. I will get to some news here, but really this is why you're here, or should be why you're here. And then let's if you guys want to look at the rocket, yeah. So let's see. So the rocket. Let me just turn off the screener because those of you who know about the rocket, and especially in M3, have been asking for a long time now. Can you program the rocket? Well, we finally did. I'm going to turn off the Bollinger Bands just because it's a bit noisy. And look at this. Now, not all of these confirm, and we're fine-tuning it. You have to know what to look for. But look at this on Solana. So a rocket is when there's a real body resting at support with a wick down below usually a 21 or 50-day exponential moving average. So here we have this at support closing near the top. And look what happened. Shot up in the sky like a bottle rocket. And see KS saying sign up for the pro indicator lifetime, use them every day, including with alerts. Yeah, thanks for that, KS. Thanks. Yeah, and you can set alerts on these. So in fact, let's do that. I'm going to go down here on Solana and do a setting for the rocket indicator. And I want to know anytime that we have a rocket on Solana, because Solana is the rocket. It is the rocket. It went up 657% since August 1st when we first called it. Now, and of course, it came back down, but I think this is the rocket of this bull run. Okay, so I want to say rocket alert on Solana. I'm going to do not just once, I want it once per bar close, and I want an open-ended alert. Anytime Solana has a rocket on the daily, I want to know first. How many of you want to know? Put your hand in the air and point at yourself. Say, I want to know, because a rocket on Solana can be huge. Okay, so buy signal exclamation point. And I do recommend that you customize your alerts on these, because look at this Solana, when we had a rocket here and it went up, only 64, 65%. If you got up here, 70%. If you bought or sold at the top here, now you're saying, well, nobody sells at the top. Well, this Bollinger Band tells us kind of where to get out. All right, let's look at another rocket here. Let's zoom out. Now this one, let me show you how to negate a rocket, because the technology got fooled on this. And so here, the problem with this rocket here, not to armchair quarterback, but it did have support. Oh, that was the one that did work. The problem with this one that failed is the wick is too low I like to see a deeper wick, so a longer fuse. And it was okay. It could have gone. It's also a small real body. I like to see more rocket fuel in the candle, right? So that one here, kind of boring price action. But look, if you buy all of them, you still come way out ahead. And now this here, watch this. We had the double rocket. This one here wasn't really a rocket. I something wrong with the calculation, because a key part of the rocket, very important, is that it closes at or near the top. Okay, so within 10% of the top. So you see how price pushed up here to 98 and pulled back. This, while is still a bullish candle, real body on the 21-day EMA, and this still bullish with a deeper wick, because what the lower wick shows is the sellers originally sold it down to 94 and the buyers push it back up to 97. So that was an early. This, maybe you say, well, that's interesting. You might look at your other signals and say, well, maybe I'll wait. But this is textbook rocket right there, you guys. This is a pattern I noticed years ago when I was a stock and options trader. And fortunately, it's even better with crypto. And the definition of the rocket is real body. So the full name is rocket on the launch pad. Okay. And if you ever were, guys, if you ever were in the Cub Scouts or the Boy Scouts, right? And we would go out on the weekends and just we get these rockets, and they had these little cartridges. I don't know what was in them. Apparently rocket fuel, because you would go and hook up these electrodes and you go walk, 20 feet away and turn the key, and then that thing will go up in the air, right? And then it would run out of rocket fuel, and then what would happen? It would fall back to the ground, fall back to Earth. Same thing. So the rocket here, if you want to think of it as a bottle rocket on 4th of July, so on the launch pad has to be sitting at a support level, usually the 21 period exponential moving average. And so just imagine lighting the fuse. Longer the fuse, the better. The more rocket fuel, the better. Look, if Elon were a crypto trader, he would love this one, right? Because they're reusable. They come back down on Earth. Anyway, you light the rocket, goes up. Look how high this went just from this rocket when let's say we were buying it even at the top. You're not going to cherry pick these. Even if we bought at the end of the day, it's nice 15% pop in a matter of a week or so. How many? 10 days. So how many of you like the rocket now? Well, look, there's another one. Solana's great for these. And I see somebody just posted, yeah, KS. We'll look at that. Rocket forming on SUI on the 4-hour. Okay. Yeah, let's check that out. So here on this rocket here, now this one's a little bit less textbook, and I need to refine this a bit. Obviously, it still worked out, but large real body. The launch pad was sort of a somewhat of support there, and resistance flipped as support, right? So there, I'd like to say we took that into calculation. That's just a coincidence. We are still refining this, but look at that beautiful rocket on the launch pad, fuse below, shot up. How high did it go? Well, this one was a huge runaway winner, you guys. Just this one indicator alone could more than pay for these for a lifetime. 85% win. Pinching myself. I'm not saying we always get those, because we're busy, we're doing a lot of things, but that's why you want to set alerts on these. And now here's one that failed, but here's one I would have dismissed, and that's why I'm here. So the calculation is that it closes at or near the top. So the top of this is textbook. What it's missing is the fuse. Now, when I say fuse, what does that really mean? What's the psychology of that candle? Okay. Well, what that means is if there's a longer fuse, as I just described, it means like over here, the sellers pushed it down and the buyers were in control. They bought it back up. But over here, this little tiny fuse, just think of it, if you go and you go light a firework and the fuse is only that long, is that a good idea? Generally not. You can blow your hand off. So, I come up with these analogies so you remember, so you don't blow your account up. So anyway, but there are obviously, with all of these things, have invalidation markers, and this would have been a trade I may have taken. I mean, but usually what I like to see is a confluence also. And so, in all fairness, we had the TSI going green. I'm not gonna, this is a trade I would have taken. I'll be honest. The ERI printed. and then we had a rocket, and then we had a TSI going green. Can you guys see this right down in here? And I would have taken that trade and been pretty happy about it until there. What happened? It just blew up. Now, what happened around June, summer? I don't remember. There's probably a news event. So always use, stop losses and be ready to get out of the trade if it goes below kind of the low of the candle three ago. The stop loss is very important. Tricky business though. This would have been like a stop hunt. But anyway, so point being, you'll win more than you lose. Make sure you take stops, because if you don't, you'll wind up writing things down. And we can also use the signals here for that generally. But that was that midsummer sell-off here. Most of the time, and let me just look at the weekly to see if we caught it on the weekly, because I don't like to cherry pick, but I do like to always go back and learn the personality of the coin. Yeah, so in June, July, let's see, was that down in here, sort of June sell-off, and then hitting resistance up in here. What I would call your attention to on that is, so we went to, so where did we go? Up here, we did our ERI caught it on this bounce on the bearish side, and then bullish here. So Solana was a great trading. If you want to see results, guys, I doubled my SOL in my IRA, and by trading these zones in here, and I know there's a lot of noise with that. You guys have been coming to class for a while, know that we had a lot of buy blocks down in this region and all through here. So every time Sol came down in this buy zone, I was buying and I was selling up in this range. Great trading range. But now we are entering the parabolic phase. So I will say this, on the next pullback here, I would be buying Sol aggressively back even into 215. I'm going to set an alert to be watching. Now, I might set some buy limit orders, but I'm also going to say, buy question mark, so that I'll come back and look at the signals, what they look like then. All right, so we're already about an hour. Let's see, kind of going into the weeds a little bit. But these signals they do work on all time frames and all fractals. Here's another example, AVAX. I did sell most of my AVAX last night. Why? See that red box? That's where the sellers are. See this Bollinger Band breach with this light red up and down? That tells me that it's overbought. So sure enough, we wicked up in this area, bounce up. So there's some sell pressure here on AVAX. I would wait for pullbacks and not be buying this. And I do think the markets are kind of due for some pullbacks here. Let me catch up on some questions, you guys. Let's see. Rocket on the 4-hour on SUI. So let's see. Bitcoin still trying to break and hold that 93K level, but how's the volume? I don't know why the volume's turned off. Volume's kind of diminishing though, which is a little bit suspect. I think the bulls may be a little bit tired. So let's see any news here. Let's see. Bitcoin prices analyst sees 94K swipe as ETF options launch arrives. We'll pull that up. And I did see Grayscale pushing and buying their ETF yesterday on one of these resources here, and I did post that in the M3 Active Trader. So if you want the latest news and you want to learn more about our M3 Active Trader, where I give trade recommendations and trade charts every day, go to moonstream.io over here. It's moonstream.io/M3, because that is our highest level training for active traders, unless you want to do one-on-one. But this is the program for that. We have a chat room. I'm in here daily, a members area, very smart traders in here. You might see your name on there, a couple of you guys. And KS, you should be in there. So some really smart traders, and a members area, some great resources, some high probability cheat sheets and patterns and candle patterns. So if you're kind of new to trading, but you like the idea of compounding your portfolio by buying in on the high swing highs, or sorry, selling at the swing highs and buying at the swing lows, the old buy low, sell high. Well, of course, but it's not that easy, is it? It is when you have our signals and our methods. And I always teach only simple methods. Can I draw Elliott waves and Fibonacci circles and Gann fans? Yes, but why? It is analysis paralysis. You don't need it. It's like the Wizard of Oz when you finally look behind the curtain and realize It's not magic. There's a method to the madness here. So go check out M3. And that's our class tomorrow, where we deep dive into more of this, including total market cap and looking at the dollar index, the macro side, but specific coin picks and recommendations, which I generally do give in the M3 Active Trader. So let's see, where did that thing go? Just to show you that real quick, here it is. And somebody's saying, run Bitcoin chewing its way up. Yeah. So, you'll learn as much from these other people in the group. And by the way, I want you in the group because, the more eyeballs on all this, the better. Many people are quiet and just sort of lurk, but, pretty active in here. Here's that ETF that I was mentioning that we were seeing Grayscale starting to buy. And so we see that down at the bottom here on the right side, we have GBTC, and then the Grayscale's Bitcoin as of yesterday. Wait a minute. So as of November, this green line, pretty quiet, but Grayscale was buying. So that's interesting. Anyway, but we also have a lot of commentary on there on things like FOMC, stuff like that, and buy sell recommendations. Those of you that got in that stacks trade did very well, and Metis, and so anyway, lots of value in there. If you really want to optimize this bull run and like swing trading, hop over there and check that out. Some of our members here and their hats. So yes, you guys get a hat. Actually, I think we're out of M3 hats though. I've got to get some more of those. All right, back to the program. So 1 hour, 4 hour, we'll get back to this. Do want to watch Bitcoin in case it starts to rally, but I'm really looking for end of day sell-offs if we do. Typically, also, we did a study in M3 that Tuesday is typically the big sell-off day. So that's kind of why I'm a little bit leery today that this weak pump on low volume is not to be trusted. All right, and where's the SUI? It should be in here. Where is it? SUI. I sold my SUI, by the way, guys. I chickened out. Yeah, I don't know. I don't like this sell block up here. You said there's a rocket on the 4 hour. Last form. See, last time 4 hour 11.5. Okay, maybe. Let me turn it on. And do I have the rocket on? I don't really use it on the 4 hour, to be honest. Maybe I am missing out. By the way, when you go over to cryptomastery.org/pro and you sign up, these will show up in your invite only areas, and they'll look like this, the blue ones. So the Rocket, Alert Screener, Alert Pro, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You get 11 signals, pro signals that are easy to use, and we give training on that. So guys, it's the deal of the century. And if you have other signals you like, that's great. Use those, but these are better, and they'll help you trade, make more money, and lose less. Just saying, not to be self-serving. You guys know that I have them, how good they are. All right, so the rocket is on. You said 11.5. Let me go full screen on this. I know you're probably telling me exactly what I need to know, but because I'm a man, I don't follow instructions. I want to do it myself. 11.5. I don't see it, KS. I see some way back when. Let's see, or maybe you're telling me it disappeared. Yeah, they'll disappear if at the end of the candle close they go away. I mean, I can just eyeball a couple of mini rockets. You sometimes see these, and right here, although it didn't close at the top, so not a rocket. So anyway, what is Sui doing? Sui has this sell block overhead, and I didn't like it on the daily for some reason. And let's see, let me lighten that up so it doesn't look so obnoxious. Let's see, daily, go back down. I want to take a look at a couple things here. Chain link. Yeah, okay. I kind of thought that would sell off. It did. Just taking a breather. And see Sol. So Sol holding nicely. It's just it's overbought on Sol. I really want Sol to come back down, but we know that doesn't always. I'm still kicking myself last cycle where I sold too early. Let's see, but a lot of these alts kind of moderately selling off and taking a breather. If we wanted to look at Sui there, here it is. It just feels like it's topping out. And actually, you know why I sold my Sui? Here's why. Fibonacci's. So not scare everybody off, I will use the Fibonacci on occasion. It's so let me turn off some of the stuff here. I know that if you're not familiar, it's kind of painful to look at. But let's look at this full screen. Bear with me. This is a good lesson. By the way, if you like this is our free class on Tuesdays. We do a lot more of this kind of thing in the M3 class tomorrow. So this Fibonacci there from the last high down at the bottom, which was back in August. Can you imagine? Can you believe Sui was 50 cents in August? It's all I'm going to cry by doing this, but obviously we didn't know that would be the low. It's up 6x. So anyway, well, live and learn. However, so the fib from there to there projects we could push up to $4.60 and the $6. Now, why are we stumbling here? Wait a minute. Is that the right? Okay, yeah. So on these shorter term time frames, though, they are worth paying attention to. This is what I did last night. The fib on that, which one is fibs? From this little swing down to here, if we draw it like that, wait, on the candle body, look at that. You see that, you guys? The means we pumped from the swing low on the 50-day EMA, okay, up to the 3.618 exactly and pulled back. Fibs are great in the right market and used correctly. We're not going to get into that here. This is to teach crypto mastery signals, but that's why I sold my SUI, and I'll kind of wait for a pullback, but because that's why it pushed up profit taking there. And I was just looking at the golden pocket there, which is it was interesting. It went right up to the 1.618. We're getting in the weeds though for this class. Let's see. What else? 4-hour SUI. Anything else, you guys? 4-hour rocket. I want to get to some news. KS says you want it to clear that sell block above and confirm breakout. Right, yes, on that. KS, exactly. So these sell order blocks. Now, wait a minute. I don't see sell order blocks on the daily on SUI. That's the problem. When we get into price discovery, everything goes. So this pump here, we did call that. I did put a buy signal at $2 on SUI, and we hit price discovery, shot up in the air. It's kind of putting in the fireman's ladder, though, isn't it? So I would expect some pullbacks on SUI, and specifically where you'd want to buy is not when it's overbought like this on our TSI. Our ideal entries are down here when we go red to green, right? And when we have early reversal indicators, I don't like to be buying up here, pegging the upper edge on that. And if the RSI is also our overbought, don't like that at all. I mean, SUI and Sol, we are in the beginning of the parabolic bull phase, but we're not in alt season yet. So, could this pump to 4? That was my original target, and it could, but I'm waiting for pullbacks on these and for our signals to kind of come around. All right, you guys, let's talk about some news and go over to that. Let's see. I'm going to push this over here. Got some news articles queued up to see if we can, why do we look at charts first? Show me the charts. I'll tell you the news. And I've said that 100 times. I didn't invent it, but all that means is that, I let everybody else kind of dissect all of the news. And what we care about is how the markets react to the news. Is that right? So, all right, let's see. We have some news articles here. Let me just open these up and we'll talk about this. And oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So thank you, Myrene, for queuing up some news for us. Cointelegraph, Bitcoin metric breakout teases inevitable 90% Bitcoin rally. Yeah, I think that's worth looking into. I mean, that's the thing is you don't want to be stuck in a lockout trade if Bitcoin just, big green candle. So Bitcoin Bull's getting rare breakout signs from classic BTC chart metrics. I don't know. I have, let's see. I'm just skimming this over here. MicroStrategy raising another billion at 0%. I heard this. Yeah, raising another billion at 0% interest. We'll go to that. Sorry, I'm trying to open this in a new tab. There we go. We'll go to that next. May see strong bull rally if one classic Bitcoin. I kind of hate how they tease you with these things. The Puel, nobody knows how to say it. Multiple nears Bitcoin price. This is on-chain metrics. I don't trust these. I wouldn't go by that, but we'll look at it anyway. Crypto Quant showing the metric crossing 365 moving average just 3 times. Okay, you have my attention. Right. I mean, certainly, like our ERI only showed 4 times in history on the monthly time frame, each at market cycle low. That's why we were getting into the market in January of 2023. We had our ERI signal on a monthly time frame. So, yeah. So the more rare signals I look at. What does it do? It helps us understand market cycles from a mining perspective. Okay. I didn't know that. Good to know. I usually follow the hash ribbon indicator, which is the miner's capitulation and when they're buying. Yeah, so the Puel principle is the indicator evaluating the miner profitability. But here's the thing, and I always question everything. The miners used to mine a lot more Bitcoin, and they would sell 12 billion a year of their Bitcoin mined to pay for energy and new ASIC machines and miners. But as the miners are by definition, after the halving, only able to mine half as much, they impact the market half as much, right? There's only 6 billion they can sell, or likely to sell. See, what does this mean? Ron, what are you talking about? I got a message. There she blows. It's always when we're not looking at Bitcoin, it's like that old thing if you watch a boiling pot. Sui pushing up, Bitcoin leads up 3,000. Okay. All right. Yep, there it went, Ron. Good for letting us know. It's I'm just gonna leak this a little bit, you guys. Do utilize these classes. I don't know that we're gonna do these in 2025. There's probably different uses of time we could be doing because invariably we're missing big market moves. And so I'll see how that settles, but I think this is a very bullish signal, and I would be buying Bitcoin here. I want to see this 4-hour candle in the next 90 minutes. It could certainly still sell off. It's pushing the upper Bollinger Band on the 1-hour, 4-hour. This is derivatives driven, so I don't know for sure, but I imagine it will come out that the options on the ETFs, lots of put orders are coming in and they're hedging on their puts by buying Bitcoin, right? That's being delta neutral means you have, if one goes up, you're making money on the one that goes down, and there's a little VIG in the between. But sure enough, there we go. Thank you, Ron, for calling that out. Bitcoin pumping here. And I was looking at it. If I wasn't running late for class today, I was actually going to go buy it. I had a feeling, my spidey sense, but can't take credit in hindsight. So there you go. But that's what it's doing. So all right, back to what were we talking about? The news. So let's see if we can figure out why the news show me the charts. So the charts. I bet you we're going to come across an article of why this exact thing is happening. Pool measures Puel measures, I don't know how to say it, you guys. If anyone knows, let me know. Measures the daily value of mined Bitcoin. Puel, maybe? I don't know. I don't like it. Value of mined Bitcoin, 365 moving average, provide insight miner stability. When the value crosses the moving average trend line, trends coincide with the rapid BTC price gains. Guys, this isn't it. If you've seen my liquidity study, that's it. It's liquidity coming into these markets. This golden cross, January spark, blah blah blah, it settles above. This is not a causal. This is coincidental, I think, and it's the RSI signals Bitcoin bull market just beginning. Hey, you know what, you guys? If you haven't seen it, I'm going to jump over to this because some of you haven't, and we're going to load up that liquidity cycle study that I did because that really, I think, is more encompassing. Not trying to take credit for all of this, but I put a lot of time into this. And here, you see this, the liquidity cycle bottom, and it's usually 1,400 days since the previous all-time high. Let me go full screen. There's a lot on this chart. All right. Oh, last all-time high breakout right here I'm going to go down. When was that? At the bottom of the liquidity cycle when countries started adding liquidity back in the markets, back in October of 2020. Broke out. Prior to that, where did we have that happen? Down in here, 1400 days or so. Let's see. Yeah, the purple box for 1300 days prior, bottom of the liquidity cycle. 1492 days before that, you guessed it, bottom of the liquidity cycle. These cycles run over and over. It's a sine wave. It's the same, and we're just coming out of a liquidity zone right here, you guys. And we're seeing these other countries. And I've been saying it's a monthly signal, so it's late. But these have been going up. People's Bank of China, People's Bank of Japan, European Bank, of course, the Fed, etc. So as liquidity starts to push up, money finds its way into the markets, and we break new all-time highs. There you go. You don't need any news; it's right there in front of you. And so, if you guys want that, well, we give you access to this in the M3 Active Trader, and you can follow it. And I've done a few videos on that over in TradingView if you want to check that out. Those are all free, of course. Just like the video, do me a favor. If you want to find those, and you want some more free education, just go Brett Fogle TradingView. I haven't done a video there in a while. I've been on the road. I have 2 of our editor's choice, so that's always good here. But yeah, you could go look at these. One of them talks about that, and also my path to 155K Bitcoin, which is this one. Also my stacks trade, which we're still not haven't seen play out yet. We already made good money on that. Okay, let's go back to the news here. We've got Bitcoin weekly closes near 90K. 5 things to know in Bitcoin this week. Are we at 90K, you guys? Are we really there? 94K. What am I talking about? I sold it 92.5. It's guys, get ready for the bull run. It's gonna come so fast and furious. Your brain's gonna have trouble keeping up. And all I will say is beware of the hype cycle. That's usually the top. When they start giving $2 million, $3 million Bitcoin price predictions, and Cathie Woods saying, last cycle it was $1 million Bitcoin, which in all fairness, she was saying 2030, but when people start coming out and, doubling their recent estimates, I'd say right around the middle is usually where things land. All right. Market's parabolic phase has notionally begun, lasting for around 300 days before a macro top sets in. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. I'd love for that to be true. I think it's closer to 100 days. I think we should get a second bull run end of 2025. I think we have a big crash. I'd say it's not a big crash. I'd say a big correction Q2, Q3, like, early Q2 into the summer. Maybe it lasts to Q3, and then magically everything's okay again. And then, then we hit 150, 200K, maybe more. But you have to be ready for that, and you're going to want to have our market top signals. And you can get those in any of our services, Retire Rich or M3 Active Trader. Alrighty, guys, I'm not here to sell you things. I really care about you, and I'm doing you a disservice if I'm not pushing you to get the signals, get in some classes, follow our lead. We've been nailing these reversals, and the only one I didn't get really exactly right is this breakout right now, but this could still sell off by the end of the day, though, so the right trade was I sold half my Bitcoin, 92.5. Didn't buy it back because I was busy, and I'm mostly in cash right now, waiting for an opportune time. If we do get pullbacks, though, to 86K, anywhere in this range, buy. Not financial advice. I can do that one-to-many, just not one-to-one. Incidentally, if any of you would like help one-on-one, I do work with some clients one-on-one, and I've had a few new clients here and a few mulling it over. Do not have time for everybody. Ideal client has 6 figures or more in the markets, sometimes less. Sometimes they want to learn, and so you can do one-on-one coaching. And I also can create an optimal portfolio for you. And but I'm really going to be not doing that and pulling that away in December if things get too busy. So Anyway, if that's of interest, go here and you can watch a short video that I'll be re-recording soon because this is from 2021, and you can schedule a call with me, and there's some reviews there. That's ideally most clients there, six figures, multiple six figures, want to protect, want to get out at the top of the bull run, want optimization of their portfolios because they're holding coins they probably shouldn't be holding, and there you go. Not a huge commercial, but if that's you, reach out. I've got maybe room for one or two more, and that's not this week. I've already got onboarding of two this week. So where were we? The news. Okay. Six figures, first time history. That's the six-figure mark, I think, is going to be a tricky one. As we get closer to 100K, think of how many people last rally and last cycle. And we were one of them. We were doing the math and say, yeah, Bitcoin should no problem. It'll hit 100K. And of course, we know that it didn't. So there's a lot of people that were buying the last market cycle top and wanting the 100K. So I think that, all right, I'm going to give you two answers. Psychologically, 100K should be a barrier, psychological barrier, and I think a lot of people are expecting that. I think we'll reject early before that and probably see a pullback and then break through, or I think we just blast up right through it because there's probably a lot of short sellers up at 100K. My spidey sense, and you guys, my spidey sense is usually right, is that happens. We get either a push up here just shy of it and a pullback and blast right through it, or we just blast right through it and we go up maybe 110, 115. And then we get some kind of a pullback and we could push to 150 by Christmas. I don't know. If we get the parabolic blow off, it's just this right here is the tricky part. And anyway, but we'll know. We'll see. We're at 93, almost at 94K, you guys. Look at that. Some of that short covering and some of that is this option hedging, I bet you. I bet you tomorrow, next day, we'll see both articles, liquidations of the shorts and option hedging was driving the price higher. And of course, Michael's strategy with the big swinging, in town and buying and buying and buying. Lots of people about to become intimately familiar with the phrase fear, FOMO. This is very beginner stuff. Press it's like, it's okay. By the way, maybe teaming up with the former CMO of Cointelegraph and another old friend of mine, and that's doing some big things in the financial space. So that could be fun. I'll keep you posted. Yeah, and so Plan B, I was watching a Plan B video the other night. I mean, he's holding to, he thinks, according to his model, well, of course, he has a wide margin of error, doesn't he? So he's forecasting 500K Bitcoin this cycle, right? With a margin of error of one standard deviation. So it could only be 250K or it could be a million. So he's given himself a lot of wiggle room there. But so Plan B reference relative strength index, which tends to stay above its overbought throughout the Bitcoin bull run, and that's also interesting. So we are there. The monthly RSI 74. I think tomorrow in M3 we need to look at our monthly signals here, that MACD RSI and stochastics RSI, because there are some interesting levels we have on that. But all of this at this point is conjecture, and there's a more R-rated phrase I could use, but I won't. But sort of mental euphoria or something along those lines. And so MicroStrategy to raise 1.75 billion, zero interest rates to buy more Bitcoin, zero interest rates. So how many of you just kind of cringed though, like the Japan yen carry trade, which loaned all kinds of money at zero interest rates, and then they raised interest rates, and so jump trading, which had massive exposure, had to dump all its Bitcoin. I wonder who. Michael Saylor's not that dumb, so I'm just saying. Let's see. Yeah, acquire additional Bitcoin and general corporate purposes. So, and I shared a resource today in the M3 chat. Those of you who do watch that video, talking about how MicroStrategy tends to lead the price of Bitcoin and looks to be in a blow-off parabolic pump. And we'll look at MicroStrategy tomorrow. So you guys, this is not the beginning of the bull run. We're halfway through, I'd say, if not getting close to not the end of it, but acceleration. And I'd be careful of buying and waiting. So, now is the time. Don't be waiting around saying, well, I've got things to do. I've got going on vacation. You got Thanksgiving. Hey, Friday's my birthday. I'll be taking the day off, but really looking at everything for, friends, family, personal reasons, and this stuff. So anyway, not going to be turning off the old computer. I'll be watching carefully. So let's see. I want to get through the news here. We're going a bit long on time, and I've got some other work I've got to get to, like recording videos. If you want more detail on all this, of course, you can go join the M3 class. If you're more of a long-term trader and this is over your head or you like more buy and hold, then go check out our Retire Rich class. That's where we're buying long-term future Amazons, future Netflix, the ones where the real appreciation can be. And we will, of course, sell 80% at our market red alert signals, but holding moon bags. You can go watch a short video here and links to a highlight reel and also some of the big winners from when we started it a year ago, where Filecoin up 260% in 162 days, Render up 282%. Our big one was INJ, which went up 568%. So that could have turned 5K into 28,400. We go on periodic buying sprees. We did again recently, and we're Mike, my business partner, is really good on the Thursday weekly class, talking about the macro, everything, really give you peace of mind. So this is more of longer term trading and less swing trading. So M3, swing trading those channels, long term bullish, swing trading, compounding portfolios. This is more, hey, I just kind of want to buy, tell me what to buy over time, and then maybe near the market top, let me know when to get out. Two different so you can learn more about those here. Not trying to overwhelm, just different kind of traders. Some of you like signals and like to trade like I do, and we do an M3. Some of you are more long-term, just want to kind of buy and hold. That's more Retire Rich or our crypto newsletter. All right, let's see. RWA, real world assets, one of the key sectors that we identified in the Retire Rich class a year ago. So we are early on these and calling the hot sectors. RWA is kind of early, but I think they're picking up steam. That's, of course, tokenization of real world assets. Big companies like BlackRock buying up expensive things like real estate or art or you name it, securitizing. Who knows? I heard they were securitizing something like not taco stores, but some obscure. It was noodle shops in Southeast Asia. So they're buying like, and then tokenizing those so everyone can invest in things. It's projected to be a huge market, and of course reinsurance. So that's how as crypto investors will be able to kind of like a REIT and real estate, will be able to buy kind of like an ETF. I don't know why we don't just buy ETFs, but anyway, RWA is a big new sector. We're watching some of these. It's too early. There's nothing timely on this right now, and right now Bitcoin's probably blasting through 95K, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. We're pushing 94K. Yeah, I don't know. Again, we want to see where we close today, but it's looking pretty bullish, you guys. It's looking pretty bullish here. All right, last one here. So Cardano, guys, I'm not a huge fan of Cardano. I don't know why it pumps so much. At ADA stands for, in the last bull run, it stands for at a dollar always, as a stable coin. That's a joke. So I don't know. Cardano, I think would rally because they might get an ETF. Let's see, the Cardano Bitcoin Bridge. Oh, okay. Decentralized finance application secures. I mean, I've always said Cardano might win in the long run. It's in the tortoise and the hare race. It's the tortoise. So, okay. I mean, anything if it teams up with Bitcoin, that's, that's a good sign. It's kind of like, no, this is not a good analogy. I was going to say Jake Paul and Mike Tyson teaming up. I mean, it was good for both of them. Um, but that just opens up a whole nother can of worms about what really happened there. Bitcoin layer twos didn't. All right, let's see. So, Bitcoin layer twos didn't allow users to withdraw their Bitcoin without consent of the network's operator, and suspected that the new Cardano bridge hybrid would be more of the same. So that's a negative for Grail. What is Grail again? We do want to know about these, and just because many M3 members are here, let's talk about it. Let's kind of do a search for Grail on this page because I missed it. And so the upcoming Cardano Bitcoin bridge based on the Grail protocol, haven't heard of that, be a first step toward providing decentralized finance. Of course, DeFi is always going to be strong. Applications secured by Bitcoin documents for bridge underlying protocol reveal. Cointelegraph tends to be very wordy. Developing the bridge in partnership with Grail's developer, BTCOS. I imagine that stands for Bitcoin Operating System. I don't know. Let's see. I can't wait till there's just a button on these. Any browser that wants to own the browser game, just have a synopsis button. I'm sure there are AIs that do that, plugins, just say, hey, tell me what the F this means. So we don't have to read through it all. And Perplexity AI is pretty good. I could do it. Grail builds Bitcoin. Anyway, I don't know. Show me the charts, I'll tell you the news. All right. So let's hop over, and I'm as surprised as you are that I would be looking at Cardano. Not to be hating on Cardano. Charles is he's a slow mover. There's fast mover advantage, and there's slow mover disadvantage. In the trend channel, it has slowly been creeping up, however, since putting in a nice bottom, which we were looking at prior, at one point 25 cents. So it's tripled in value since October of 2023. October of 2023 was a great time to start buying. We were buying coins at that market inflection point. Came back down. It's still in an upper trend channel. I mean, all the signs were there, you guys. We just weren't watching Cardano because it's a slow mover. It's a big battleship that doesn't usually move like that. And went and got some turbo props. Had some nice buy blocks down here. This is why you want to have the buy block indicator. Shows where the buy orders are lining up. Huge volume came in. That's, of course, the big reveal, the big answer. Why that is, we don't really know. I haven't, but I don't really care. I mean, look, what is it? Could it pump up here and then retrace a bit? Yeah, I'm not going to chase it here. I'm not going to buy that on this after the run up. And you have to be okay missing those because that was just out of the blue. Same thing with whatchamacallit, XRP, just out of nowhere, suddenly shot up. And I'm not a big believer in the XRP. Here's the thing, by the way. I wonder if Mike is here. A friend of mine that was sent me some. He was investigating XRP in the last bull run, and he's a local here, and yeah, so he sent me some links. Did you know that XRP, there's two types of it? The company itself doesn't benefit at all from all of these banking relationships, and they're not going to uplift or upseat the Swift banking. Then so they have a token, but they're not as interrelated. So for those of you in M3, I'll share that link. So that's why XRPM, I mean, I'll trade it, but I wouldn't chase it. And if you are an XRP the Bollinger Bands surely are over. Yeah, this thing's, I would not, this thing's probably going to pull back here. It doesn't mean it has to, but I wouldn't chase it. It's above $1. All right, let's see. Question. Let's see. Somebody had some comments though on Hoskinson. KS M3 member Hoskinson was invited to advise the Trump cabinet on crypto matters. Oh, well, I'm surprised about that. Sort of not your typical, but hey, why not? I would think Michael Saylor would be a better advisor. Just saying. David saying XRP pumping because the price was suppressed. David also an M3 member because the price was suppressed by their legal issues, right? But they kept winning legal issues and it didn't do anything. So it was a legal coin, not under. Yeah, that's probably why. David, the SEC, the attack dogs The Gensler, if you just picture a pit bull with Gary Gensler's, he kind of looks like a pit bull, a skinny, malnourished one. And hey, come on, you guys, you have to. Nobody can like the guy. He's cost us all a lot of gains. But in the end, it might be he might have been the useful idiot that now is they've taken the leash. They are gonna. I don't want to use the wrong analogy here because I do like dogs, but they're gonna put him out. They're gonna put him into foster care. How about that? And there'll be a new mascot. But yeah, with the new pro crypto administration and whether Gensler retires, which I think he did announce that. He did announce that 18 states are suing him. So certainly that could be good for the coins that Gensler had singled out as securities like XRP and Polygon, I think was one of them. So anyway, certainly worth keeping that in mind. How are we doing on time, you guys? I got to run. We're almost at 2. I'll answer one more question. Leslie says, can you explain compounding? I would Google that, Leslie. Essentially, where you take something small and compound it, like compounding interest. So if you're earning 20% interest on your crypto month over month, it's going to get bigger faster. Einstein said compounding is one of the great wonders of the world. You can Google that as well. And it's a perfect segue. I just met last week a very smart and interesting Belarusian guy that's been in DeFi, but also he's in compounding. What's going on here? There's birthday cakes falling from the sky, and I don't know what that is. Oh, Dr. T, thank you for the birthday wishes. Never seen that before. But back to what was I saying? Yeah, compounding. Okay, don't distract me. This is important. This guy, his name is Vadim, and he's been doing some really cool things with liquidity mining and DeFi, generating 20% API through the bear market. I want to say monthly, but I don't want to get you guys too excited. However, I'm talking to him tomorrow, and we're talking about doing a joint product because how exciting would that be if we don't have to stress so much about the bear market? Because, bear markets are not fun. It's hard to make money unless you're shorting, which is dangerous. But if we could, build our bags with this, and I'll get back to the compounding question, but and earned yield even in a bear market. I need to get more details, but I like the guy, and we're going to chat tomorrow, Thursday. It's on my calendar. Yeah, thank you, Nathan. Appreciate that. Happy getting old day. Uh, yeah, well, there's a certain point we stop celebrating these things. But back to the compounding on my Solana example, and this is actually good for you, Leslie, because of our other conversation. My Solana, I talked about, I turned 50 sol into 90 sol, something like that. I nearly doubled it since May, and I can I could log. I'm not going to. I could log into my iTrust Capital and show, and I had 50 sol coming in here, and by selling toward the tops and buying back lower in these buy blocks, and then selling high, buying low, selling high, I would have doubled it to 100, but one of my buy orders, I didn't push the there's sometimes you have to push buy like 3 times, and I was in a hurry, so the error there between my ears. But anyway, point is. And the point of what we do at M3 is that we try to swing trade these. Sorry, guys, I need to I'm trying to do 2 things at once here, and it's usually a recipe for disaster. What am I doing? Turning off the Bollinger Bands for a second. Point being, I don't know, I lost it. Change of mind. So basically on our trend channels, what if they get outside the trend channels, it's okay to reposition them. You see what I just did there, you guys, especially M3 members. I typically you want 2 data points, and I drew it from this top to this top. But what didn't work is we had and this low, but it didn't capture that low or this high. So with parallel channels, which I love, and it's okay to adjust these sometimes because you want to be on the right side of the trade. If I move it just to there, it fits better. It works better. and it's okay to massage these as we go. So and then down below though, you could still widen it. I don't like to fudge. I don't like to fudge these too much, but to me, this works a little bit better. And it accounts for this going above the high. So I do think we see some pullback here on Sol, and however much we get. And I have a note to myself, because when you get old, you have to leave post-it notes for yourself, like all over. And I'm just kidding. My memory's pretty good actually for an old timer. The Any pullback on Sol, it's all red on the radar. By the way, the radar is one of the other signals you get access to. It's a multi-time frame radar. You can change the times in there. I'm going to leave you with this. Oh, look at that. The weekly sell block. It's on. It's disappeared. So Sol has turned through that. I'm surprised we don't have a sell block though, because of this old all-time high. And so, again, typically these will reject. So we'll talk about that in M3, specific reentry criteria. If you're not in M3, you guys go sign up. Buy it for a month. It's fully guaranteed. You also get an hour coaching call with me, which is normally $1,000. Okay. New clients only. If you guys have already had your call, I really can't do more than one right now. But for $297 per month, or you get a great deal on the annual, because now would be the time to get the annual. If you don't want the trading signals, you can sign up for $2,000 for the year or $249 a month. I would actually do that and get the pro signals. This comes with the basic crypto mastery signals, which are good, just not as good. And fortune favors the brave, guys. If you're not using the right tools, you're gonna leave money on the table. Imagine if you just look behind the curtain, see what the Wizard of Oz is really doing. And we unpack that in M3. So there's a couple people here that have left comments about M3 in there. And Sam saying, is there any guarantee? Yeah, there's a 30-day guarantee. I mean, it's either you like it, if you do monthly, if you want to cancel. But I put my heart and soul in this. I don't know if I have a guarantee on this. If it's on the page, then I do, but it's $300. And if you're not willing to risk $300, you're not really probably cut out for trading. You want some tough love there. But hey, look, if you get into M3 and you're not happy, I don't think I've ever had anyone refund since August of 2021. Not one. Sam saying, would you recommend this for a beginner? I'll recommend it for everybody. If you want to learn, I don't recommend you start trading all the signals as a beginner, but to really learn this, you want to go and immerse yourself in it. That's what I did in 2021. I founded the Options University. I was the owner of the company, but I wasn't the trader back then. I never traded Forex. We sold lots of Forex courses. I hired the best Forex teachers and software, but I knew, and I had some experience, of course, swing trading stocks back in the day. But when I really got into crypto, I immersed in it all day, every day. What are we at? 3 years now. And that's the only way that you're really going to get it and win and shortcut your path as a beginner, because some of the concepts might seem foreign, but you're going to hear the same ones every week. It's not like an unlimited expanding bag of tricks. It's not like you're going to be behind every step of the way. No, I've had people that have joined as Uber drivers or working at Lowe's, and those have been some of my best students because they picked it up. And repetition is the mother of all learning, and I'll just go off camera here for a minute. Because I think it's important. I think it's important more than ever right now that you hear this, all of you. This is the time to really be paying attention right now, the next month and a half, 2 months. This is when the magic's going to happen, but it's also going to be when you want to have these skills and be developing the skills, learning from each other, because it's true that you don't fully understand something unless you can explain it to someone else so they understand it. So I love it when members in the chat start explaining things and contributing, and we all learn from each other. But what I teach and the signals that we have, there are 10 signals. You don't need all of them all at once. over time you'll pick it up. Even just the simpler ones like the ERI and the TSI and the RSI, when they start to align in green, you get in. Start turning red, you get out. And that's what we teach in this class as well as the M3 class. So yeah, and David's saying buy and sell blocks are game changers. I mean, when we first started playing around with those, we're like, it can't be that easy. But a lot of people overcomplicate things. And what's really interesting, you guys, is there's no sell blocks. They've all disappeared. You remember the total market cap was laden. It was blood red. It looked like a piranha tank above here. And we just crossed 3.7 trillion on the total market cap. And now we have buy support. We're going to talk about this tomorrow in M3. Guys, things are looking good here. And while there's always risk, it's risk favorable environment. Don't come back to me in 3 months or 6 months or a year and say, I'm ready. I'll say you missed it. And I don't know we'll be doing this a year from now and through the bear market. We might evolve into some other things. So I would say now's the time to invest in yourself. If you needed a heart transplant, you wouldn't tell a doctor, hey, I can't afford it right now. I'm going to wait till January when my paycheck comes in. Some of you are using the money excuse, and yeah, a little tough love here. It's the wrong one. So anyway, guys, I'll see you tomorrow on M3. I'll see you guys Retire Rich on Thursday, and everybody else, thanks for joining. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Quick question, Sam saying, well, how much time would you say you should dedicate each day? As much time as you can, Sam. End of the night, turn off TV, turn off your favorite shows, watch some YouTube videos, and we talk about some of the better ones. There's a lot of noise out there, so we recommend some of the better ones in the M3 class. Every morning, first thing I'm doing is watching and catching up first hour of the day before my feet hit the floor, and often late at night. It's a matter of how much do you want it. And, it's, thank you, Leslie. So anyway, to turn off the kids. Yeah, that's a tougher one. Get them in a video game, put them in the corner. Hey, look, I'm not a parent. Don't take parental advice from me, but I was an Atari player. That's how old I am. My video game had one button and one stick, and I was the king of Space Invaders. But you know what? It taught me hand-eye coordination, and I'm a damn fast typer, which really does help me in what I do. And I can type with my eyes closed. And especially so, get the kid a video game, maybe not one of the ones where they're murdering zombies and using guns and all that. I think it is desensitizing our kids to all that stuff. But hey, maybe it'll help when the zombies finally come. Okay. All right. At night, yeah, look, there's at night, block an hour. No excuses, guys. I'm working till 2 a.m. every night. Believe it. But I got to run. I got some work to do. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week. Good luck and reach out if you need anything. Bye.